Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to another one of our TV talks. Today I'm talking about why I love Stargate. So over the weekend, hashtag #WeWantStargate was trending on Twitter, and that prompted me to make a video already about why Stargate should get another season, why we want Stargate back. And in that video I touched lightly on why I love Stargate, that have pretty much influenced a lot of the reasons why I thought we should get a new season. But this one I want to dive a little bit deeper, and not too deep. I could talk about this show for hours and hours, days and days, years and years, because I just love it so much. This series, all three of the shows, I just love, and the few movies, I just love so much, and I definitely could just go on and on about it, but I just want to talk about a few of the big things that I love, particularly about Stargate. In particular, I love a lot of Star things, and Stargate might just be at the top, despite, all the merch saying otherwise. It's hard to find Stargate merch, especially on the cheap. But yeah, so I really love Stargate. I've loved Stargate for quite a long time now. I first kind of discovered it at the beginning when I first entered high school. My older brother had always kind of watched it occasionally on cable, but then for one Christmas he actually ended up getting the first, I think, the first just two or the first four seasons on DVD at the time, and so he had started watching them, and at this time I didn't have cable, but I did have a DVD player in my room, so I borrowed the DVDs at one point because I was curious to check it out. I needed a new show to check out at the time, and this was pre-Netflix. Yeah, it's how long ago this was. So yeah, I borrowed the seasons from him, and I instantly fell in love with Stargate. The balance of this sci-fi based around around aliens who pretended to be gods to trick humans and enslave them just hooked me right away. I just love that concept because I was always, when I was younger, always been had a big interest in different mythologies and religions, and particularly the gods and the Egyptian gods in particular. And so when I kind of discovered that that's what this was, the premise was of SG1, back, like I said, at the beginning of high school, watching those DVDs I borrowed from my brother, I just instantly fell in love because I'm like, oh, that's this, and so I immediately just fell in love with it. I helped my brother then get the rest of the 10 seasons on DVD. At that time, I think actually they were just finishing up, maybe, or it just finished up. And so we were able to get them all on DVD, and I binge watched all of those, or what binge watching was back in the day with DVDs. But yeah, so I immediately kind of fell in love with this great balance of this sci-fi, like I said, with this great premise, and that had this element of exploration. That's definitely the biggest part of Stargate that just really drew me in at first too. Beyond just having the mythology of the ancient Egyptian gods and that connecting into aliens and space travel and all that stuff, but then the fact that they're going to use that space travel in order to try and defend themselves against these aliens who pretend to be gods. And I'm like, okay, I love this, and I like just the idea of that, and that's what it's always kind of kept me in this show. It's just what immediately caught me into this show, and what's always kept me watching it and rewatching it over and over and over again, because I just love this idea. It's the first show I can think of in my life that I latched onto because of the story of the show, this concept of them having to go out into the universe and try and discover new technologies and new civilizations so that they can build alliances and just be able to defend themselves, and they slowly advance, and you get all the sci-fi tropes and all this great stuff mixed with a great balance of action, because they are part of the military. It's part of the military that Stargate Command is. So I just really love the way this show balances all the different elements, and it immediately got me in way back in the day, and has never let me go. Like I said in my last video, I was rewatching season 7 over the weekend because this is one of my go-to shows to just always put on, whether it's I just need something to not think about or something in the background while I'm cooking. It's just my favorite show for that because, like I said, I love the story, I love the cast and characters, in particularly SG-1. There are 3 Stargate series. I do kind of refer to SG-1 mainly as just Stargate, and then the other 2 have their own thing, but it is technically SG-1, and that's the one that really caught me to begin with Atlantis was only just starting at the time when I discovered this. But that was also great because I got to discover Atlantis as it came out too. I'm all over the place with this, but yeah. So this show is just, I've just loved it for so long, and I was immediately hooked. And it's the first show again that I can also remember that I recognized it having this overarching plot, the season's plots, and the thing that they were always kind of building up to, this idea of trying to find find technology that'll be able to help them defeat the Goa'uld. And so I just, that concept was, it's pretty, common in TV now, but and even before then, but it was the first show that I discovered in my lifetime that had that, and that I recognized, I should say, that had that, and that's what drew me in, and that's why I wanted to watch it, and that's why I loved it. 24-ish episodes on average each season, just of them just traveling the galaxies, just trying to find, discovering new civilizations and all this stuff, and I loved it so much. But yeah, then back to the cast though. The cast of SG-1, the cast of all three of the shows I love, but the cast of SG-1 definitely is what helped me also get into the show. The story was great, but it's also this cast you get Richard Dean Anderson as the Captain Jack, and then you got Samantha Carter played by Amanda Tapping, and Christopher Judge as Teal'c, and Michael Shanks as Dr. Daniel Jackson. This group of four just has such a great dynamic through the 8 to 10 seasons that they were in it together, because there was some coming and goings of the team throughout the season, particularly near the end. But just the dynamic of them in particular in that first season, you got Daniel, who's the book nerd, and you got Sam, the scientist, and then you got Teal'c, the warrior, and then you got Jack, the leader, but also the kind of, the skeptic, I guess is the best way to put it. But he's also the comedic relief in a sense of, they all got a little bit of that. That's one thing I love as the show progresses. They all get a little bit more, and you can feel that. You can feel that they're having fun, and that this kind of dynamic that they built, this team that you're following in the show, does feel like a team, because they are a team. They're a team of actors working together for so long that they develop these relationships. So it's just, I felt that it always came off on screen, and it just definitely made me latch on to this show and latch on to these characters, because they're just so great and just so wonderful. So yeah, they're just so great and so wonderful, and I feel like I just want to hang out with them, which is exactly why I end up rewatching it so much, and why I always come back to this show, because it does feel kind of like you're hanging out with friends, even though obviously I'm just watching them. But nonetheless, it's still you get that feel, which is a great thing about it. And again, you get this good versus evil battle with this cast, and you feel for them. And every season they like to end with it. Well, most of the seasons end with a cliffhanger, so you're just always on your luckily at this point you just keep going. But I remember at the time when I first was watching this and trying to track down the DVDs so I could actually watch the next season, was kind of funny, because it was the same as with people who were watching on TV. They had to wait a whole year in order for the season to start, and then I just was trying to find a DVD. But that's not really related, or it kind of is, but not the point. The point is I really love Stargate. The whole franchise, yes, I mainly focused on SG-1 in this one, but the reasons I love SG-1 tie into the reasons I love the whole universe, into why Atlantis was a great spin-off in my opinion, and they did such a great job interweaving it. I think even better than a lot of other shows even do it. Yes, DC does a great crossover every year, but I felt like Atlantis did this great job of bringing the characters from SG-1 in just periodically enough that you're like, yeah, this makes sense. And they do little things like, yeah, we'll bring them up on the screen, we'll do a little phone call to them, because we just gotta open up a gate here, and they went a season before they could do that, because were disconnected from them, and they have reasons why they can't always see them, because they're in a different galaxy. So that show is just I didn't think, okay, I guess I'm going into Atlantis now too. Atlantis is great, the cast is great. Again, like I said, a lot of the same reasons I love SG-1 is why I love Atlantis as well. And then you get into Universe as well. It's all great. They all have great cast, all have great story concept, great ideas, great mythologies they have to build on and build themselves. It's just a great franchise and a great show, all built around the Stargate, which is just the best one of my personal favorite, best science fiction inventions ever. This, portal that links you all across the universe. I'm sure there's other cool portals and stuff like that, but to me, this is the one that I'm just like, this is the one I want. This show at one point inspired me to read a shit ton about astrophysics in high school. Like I said, I've been watching this at the beginning of high school, and throughout high school was when we were first getting the internet more commonly here in Canada, or at least for us poor people. This show inspired me to read about astrophysics. So I'm like, I want to Stargate. I want to travel the galaxy. And I learned it's not possible. Not yet. We haven't figured out how to do it yet. But the point is, this show is just so great that it has inspired me to read more about one of the things that they talk about in it. So it's just great. They're all great. The franchise is great. That's why we should get more of this series, and I just love it. But that's all I'm gonna say, because like I said, I could definitely go on and on and on and on about Stargate, because I just love it so much. But that's all I'm gonna say in this video, at least. But yeah, be sure to let me know in the comments below, though, what your thoughts on Stargate are. Do you love it? Are you not as big a fan? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you're honoring, and have a good one.